Okay. Oh, that's a big one. Okay, any idea how we do a question like this?
No.
So I would just do the two separately. So just part A, complete the table. So the top numbers are the x, and you have to say what the y is. So what they did was y equals a half times 0 plus 4. A half times 0 is 0, plus 4 gives you 4. So that goes in the y box. Let's say the 2. Any idea how you'd get what goes in the y box under the 2? Or how you'd do it?
No.
So for the first one, like I'm just picking the 0 one that's already done. X equals 0, y equals a half. Instead of x, it's now 0 plus 4, and so that one was 4. Next one. So let's say when x is equal to 2, y is equal to, instead of a half times x plus 4, it's a half times 2 plus 4, because this time x is 2. So it's just substitution, lots of substitution. Okay, a half times x. Sorry, a half times 2.
1.
Plus 4.
5.
And so 5 goes in the y box underneath the 2. Okay, how about 1?
4.5.
Well done. And how about minus 1?
3.5.
Well done. That's it. Okay, so there you've done part A, which is complete the table. Part B is draw. So this is the table of y equals a half x plus 4. Now they want you to draw the graph of y equals a half x plus 4. Any idea how you do that?
Don't you just plot it on the graph? So
what would, yeah, go on.
Would for first one be minus 2 and 3?
Brilliant. So that's, go on, how would I find that?
Minus 2 to the left.
Yeah.
And then you go up
3, that's it. And let's say, where would the last point be?
2, 5. Go across the other side to 2.
Yeah.
And go up to 5.
That's it. And what's the last thing we do?
The last thing we do is join them up.
Yeah. We join them up. And if you remember, we can check by checking another point, and the easiest one to check is 0. Is 0, 4 on our graph?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we know our graph is correct. Yeah, so in general, you just fill in the table and then plot the points. And each time you just it's just substitution. X is 2, X is 1, X is 0, and so you're just making X a different number each time and working out Y for that X. Any questions about that?
No.
And do you know the general form of the equation of a straight line?
No.
In general, all straight lines, they look like this. Y equals mx plus c. M is some number, c is some number, so y equals 3x plus 2. In this case, y equals a half x plus 4. They'll always look something like that. If you know it's a straight line, you only need to do the first and last point. If you're not sure, just do every point. So minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, and put all the x's. Because sometimes you get a graph that looks like that or something, so it won't be a straight line.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So let's do the one on the left. How would you do that? And this time they haven't given you a table, they just want you to draw it. So you could do your own table, or you could do it a different way. How would you do this first one?
I'd probably do it with a table.
Okay, what values would you use?
X and Y.
And what would you start with?
2.
So 2 isn't on it.
Oh no, you would start with, would it be 3? -3,
-3, yeah.
and then 1.
Well done. That's great, actually. Okay, so x equals -3. Go on.
And you would have 6 and 6.
Let's start with the x equals 1 thing, actually. So
Okay.
when x is 1, what is y? How do you do it?
And x is 1, y is. Isn't it 2 summing 1 plus 3? 2 times 1.
Yeah, 2x is just short for 2 times x. It means exactly the same thing.
So that would be 5.
Yeah. And where does that go in the table?
1, 5.
Yeah. Okay, and now we'll do the other one.
You get -2 times -3 plus 3.
What does that give you?
That gives us -6. No,
So that's -6 plus 3.
-3.
Yes. Okay, how do you draw the graph?
Do -3 with -3.
Yeah.
And then 1 and 5.
And the last thing?
You draw the line.
And how can you check your answer?
If it's on 3 and 0.
And is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, when x is 0, anything times 0 is 0. So it's always just going to be the number that has no x that it goes through at the y-axis, called the y-intercept. And it goes through at 3. We thought it would go through at 3, so it's correct. Any questions there?
No.
Okay. So that was a whole number 1. So these are all past paper questions. That was whole number. Let's try this one on the right, a fraction. So that one on the right. Oh. Sorry.
That's alright. So my graph again, it would be x and y.
Yeah. And then?
But wouldn't it be -3 and 5?
So what does it say in the question that you have to do?
-2 to 4.
Yeah. So you don't have to go all the way to 5. Okay. Go on.
Bloody hell, 1/2 times x plus 3.
So which will you start with, the -2 or the 4?
4.
Okay. And so what do you get there?
1/2 plus 1/2 times 4 is 2 plus 3, 5.
Yeah.
Would it be -1 for no?
Yep.
Oh, I've answered it fully. -1. -4.
That would be -1 minus 3. This is -1 plus 3.
Okay, so plus. Oh no, 2. And then to plot it, you do -2 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then 4 and 5.
Yeah.
And you draw the line.
How do you check your answer?
If it goes over 3 and 0.
Yep, and that's because it was plus 3 there. Because anything times 0 will get rid of the x1. Any questions about that?
Nah.
Okay, so you did a whole number 1, you did a fraction 1, and now the last one, the one on the right, a -1. So I'll try that. How do we do it?
So you get the x and the y graph to start,
Mm-hmm. The table.
and yeah, and you go from -2 to 3.
Yeah.
So then the first bit is 3 take away 2 times 3.
Mm-hmm.
3 take away 2. Two is -1 times 3.
Bidmas. Which comes first?
No, times, so it's 2 times 3, which is 6. Take away 3, that's 3.
3 minus 6?
Oh, -3.
Okay, so that's -3. And the other one.
3 take away 2 times -2. 2 times -2 is about -4.
Yeah.
Yeah, -4. Take away 3 is -1.
So in this case, you get -4, but it's actually 3 minus that, so it's 3 minus -4.
Okay. Yeah, wouldn't that be -1?
What
Yeah.
happens with minus?
Does it turn into a plus?
Yeah.
Oh, it's that +1. No. Oh, so it's 3 and 4. So that's 7.
That's it. Okay, that's next.
Oh, we plot it, so that'd be 3 and -3.
Yeah. Sorry, 3 and -3.
And then 2 -2 and 7.
-2 and 7. And where should it cut through?
Oh. -3.
No, that's not a -3.
3.
Yeah. So that's those two joined up, and it goes through 3. Any questions about that?
Nah.
And I think if this one, if we'd put it at -1, it would have been down here and it wouldn't have gone through at 3. Maybe an easy point would be if you let x be 0, even though it's not there. Just do x equals 0, y equals 3, and do that point with the easy point, and then just keep going through, maybe, if it's a tricky one. Okay, but we did one of each. Whole number, positive number, negative number. Let's just do this one, just the table bit. So what would you get here?
The first one be -1, and then the 4.
And let's say when x is 4.
X. 8x take away 2 times 4. 2 times 4 is 8. Take away 8 equals 0.
Yeah. And then the other one.
8 take away 2 times -1. Is 2 times -1 isn't that 2?
2 times 1 is 2. 2 times -1?
2 times -1. 2 times -2.
Yeah.
Take away 8. Is that 6?
So you did the multiplying, you didn't actually do the subtracting, so that subtraction is still there. So it's actually like that.
Okay. Eight take away -2. Oh crap, is that 6?
What happens with the minus?
Comes a plus. 6.
8 plus 2.
Oh, 10.
That's it. Yeah, the minuses, they're just tricky. I think the way to do it is to just kind of copy it out, 8 minus, and then do the multiplying and put the answer next to it. And it'll look weird with 2 minuses, but you just change it into a plus. So that's drawing graphs. What would you give yourself for that? X, a half, or tick?
In between half and a tick. So if I pop to the toilets quick.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Cheers. I'm just going to toilet quick. I can really smell the brandy. Yeah. Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, so this is gradient. It is written as a fraction, change in y over change in x. From a to b, how much has the y changed?
.4 or whatever it is, 2.4.
Yeah, and which one goes on top, which one goes on bottom?
What do you mean? What goes on top?
So it is written as a fraction.
2 go on top, 4 go on bottom.
Other way around. So the y change goes on top, and how much the x changed by goes on the bottom.
Okay.
What is 4 divided by 2?
2.
Yeah, so that one could be simplified. So in this case, the gradient of this line is 2. So it's just a measure of how steep the line is. And I'll give you a fancy way. So if you can't tell just by kind of looking at it, this, you know, the change in x was 2, the change in y was 4. You can do second y, take away first y on the top, second x, take away first x on the bottom. And that will give you change in y over change in x. So let's try these.
Okay. 4, 5, 90. Is the 5 for the first one?
So 19, take away 4.
15.
5, take away 2. Yeah, that's it. Okay, second one.
Eight, 2 and 8, and then how many times? 2 and 8. 4.
Well, this is 2 divided by 8, so all you can do is simplify it. 8 over 2 would be 4. 2 over 8?
Yeah. What's that? How many?
You can just half both of them. They're both even numbers.
No, 4 and 1.
And so the answer is
4.
No.
What, 1 over 4?
Yeah. That's it. 1 over 4. So we just simplified a fraction. And the last one down the bottom.
Would that be a minus 0.8 as well, or?
That's minus 1 comma 8.
Okay, so would it be 10 and 2?
So on the bottom is 2. On the top it isn't 10. The change in y from 8 to 2, or you could do second y, take away first y. So, and did it increase by 6 or decrease by 6?
Decrease.
And how would you write that?
Minus.
Yeah, so second y, take away first y, 2 minus 8, so that's minus 6. And what do you get there?
Three.
So that would be 6 divided by 2 minus 6 divided by 2.
Minus 3.
Yeah, so we did one with a whole number, a fraction, and a negative number. Any questions about that?
No.
Okay, and maybe writing it out as second y take away first y is helpful for the negative ones, especially because that's a tricky. Okay, exam question.
Okay. 4 minus 4, 4. 1 minus 5. PQ. So that. Would it be 8 and 5?
So that one's 5. And the other one isn't 8 from 4 to minus 5.
I'm not quite sure. Would it be what 5 correct?
Well,
Is that a minus 5 at the bottom?
yeah, minus 5.
Yes, so
What is the second y? And what is the first y?
what side?
What is the second y and what is the first y?
Second y. What do you mean the second y?
The second y coordinate, like the y coordinate of the second point.
Y x. You've lost me here.
So the if I put it here, so the one on top. So you know the way it's always xy. So we call this x1 and y1, or first x and second x, and then this one down here, x2 and y2, second x, second y. So what is y2? What number?
4 minus 5.
What is y2? What is the number? Which number is y2?
Minus 5.
Yeah. And so it's minus 5, take away, what is y1?
4.
And what do you get?
Minus 9.
Well done. And you already said 5 on the bottom. So I think writing it out this way will help, and even just putting a thing under it and over it, just so you know x1, y1, x2, y2, and then just write it out. Second x minus first x on the bottom, second y minus first y on the top, and that way you'll get it. Any questions there?
No.
Okay. How could you find the gradient of this line?
Find the bottom coordinate and the top coordinate.
That would work, and actually any two coordinates. So let's pick the easiest two coordinates, any easy coordinates that you can get. They don't have to have, minus or be the worst one.
2, 1 and 5, 2.
2, 1 would be 2 across 1 right. So this is 2, 1. What is this?
1, 2.
Yeah. And go on, the other coordinate is?
2, 5.
Well done. Okay. So how can we find the gradient?
Don't you find the difference between the two, so that'd be 1 and 3.
Okay, and so the gradient is?
3.
Yes, that's it. And what that means is for every 1 right you have to go up 3 to get back onto the line. 1 right, up 3, 1 right, up 3. Changing X is 1, changing Y is 3. Any questions there?
No.
And in general, so you could do that. You could go 1 right and then say how many up do I have to go, but sometimes it's not obvious, and so just find 2 points. Find 2 points in the line. Get it that way. Okay, let's try this one.
I can't agree for train A. So wouldn't it be 10 and 20 and 20 and 40?
Mm-hmm.
So wouldn't it be 10 and 20 for the gradient thing? Man, the answer would be 2.
Well done. Any question? Oh, sorry. Which train is traveling at a greater speed?
Train A.
And give a reason for your answer.
To travel 60 miles in half an hour, whereas train B travelled 40 miles in half an hour.
That's it. That's good. And you can see train A has a steeper gradient. You know how you do change in Y over change in X?
Mm-hmm.
So for this one, Y is the distance and X is the time. What do you get if you do distance over time? Or distance divided by time?
I don't know.
It gives you speed.
Okay.
And so basically you found the speed of the train. 2 miles every 1 minute. Okay. Yeah, and so it has this faster speed because it has a steeper gradient. Yeah. This one, I think you would be okay. I think we can skip that. This is a negative type. I think. Okay, let's try this one.
Straight line piece. What could it be? Four and 3
Mm-hmm.
and 7 and or no, not 7 and 6 and 4. So the gradient is 2 and 1 and then 2. Answer's 2.
Well, which was which?
What do you mean which is which?
So which was the change in the Y, which was the change in the X?
The change in Y would it be 2 and 1?
It's like how much did the Y's change by?
Isn't the Y the one on the right?
Yeah.
1.
Okay. And so does that go on the top or the bottom?
Top.
Yeah. And so the other one was 2. And so what is that?
1 doesn't matter what, how many 1's going to 2.
That would be if it was 2 over 1. It's this is it. The answer is just a half.
Yeah. 1 over 2.
Yeah. So the other way would be if it was 2 over 1. This one is 1 over 2 because it's Y on top, X on bottom. Actually, I think we should do this negative one. Okay, how do we do this?
So gradient would be 5 and 20.
Right.
And
Oh, 5 and 20. Yeah. Okay. And then which is which?
what do you mean which is which?
So like which on top, which on bottom, or what do you do next?
I think I have to find another one, so could there be 2.5 in this or not?
There could, but that sounds tricky. I think that one is 0.40 at the very beginning.
Yeah, 0.40. Okay, so for the y bit that's 20.
Mm-hmm.
For the x bit that's 5.
Right.
So yeah, 20 and 5, or 5 and 20.
So which one is on top, which is on bottom?
20's on top, 5 on bottom.
Yeah. And what would you get?
4.
And this one, did it go up or down by 5?
Down.
And so this 5 would actually be,
Minus.
yeah. And so how would that change the answer?
5.
And so what would the final answer be?
5.
No. So you did 20 over 5, you got 4. It's actually 20 over minus 5.
Okay. You can't fit minus 5 into 20.
Positive divided by negative?
Is that minus 5 divided by 20 or
Yep.
20 divided by?
So just a plus divided by a minus, what do you get?
So confused me. 20.
No numbers. Plus divided by minus.
Would that come out times? Would that come out with times?
No. A plus divided by a minus is a minus. And so it's minus 4. So any plus number divided by any minus number will always give you a minus number.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like plus times minus, giving you a minus.
Yeah.
Anya, so that's minus 4. A practical interpretation. What does that mean? Any ideas about that? Write down a practical interpretation of the value you worked out in part A.
No, I don't know what a practical interpretation is.
So it's basically in terms of the context of the question. So this is water flowing out of a cylindrical tank at a constant rate. So any idea about that?
No.
So I think the interpretation would be, because it's a minus, it's going to decrease, and it's changing y over change in x, so it's every y per x. So it's a decrease of 4, decrease in the depth of 4 centimeters every 1 hour. Every hour, because that's in hours.
Okay.
So that's practical interpretation is, what is it in the context of the question? Any questions about that?
No.
Okay. So we did negative, we did fraction. This one's a calculator one, but it's the exact same idea. And actually, once you get 2 coordinates, you just put it in your calculator.
Mm.
And there's lots of these questions. This one, okay, any idea about this? Part A.
No.
Do you remember earlier we were checking our answers?
Mm-hmm.
So if you were checking your answer for this one, where should it go through on the y-axis?
So say that again, where should it go through on the y-axis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And what number is P if you were to look at the equation?
I'm not sure. That's what we're trying to find out.
What is x? What's the x coordinate for every point on the y-axis?
I'm not sure. Wouldn't be. No, sorry, carry on.
X is 0 for
Okay.
every all those points, and so when x is 0, what is y?
0.
3 times 0 plus 5.
Oh. 8.
That's 3 times 1 plus 5.
5.
Yes. And so what that shows you, so P is 5 and it matches up with there. 0 times anything gives you 0, and so the y-intercept will always be the number without x in the equation. Okay, let's try this one, and it's when x is 0. Write down the coordinates of the point where the line crosses the x-axis. So how about this one?
So. I'm not sure.
So what is the number without x in this one?
0.
There's no 0.
I can't see the line there, mate. So.
There's no graph. So just
What? I've got to find coordinates then.
Yeah, so what is the number that doesn't have x? That isn't in front of x.
5.
Yeah, and on the y-axis, what is the x always? The y-axis?
3 times whatever, 5.
Well, what is the x on the y-axis?
0.
Yeah, so on the y-axis, x is always 0. 5, and so 5 minus 3 times 0, that's 0, so it's 5 minus 0, or 5. It's basically, it's the number here without the x, and it's always 0 on the y-axis. So this is an exam question. How about this?
That's another question. According to the point value. x-axis or y-axis? 2.
Close. Something's missing. That would be if it was plus 2.
Y or
That would be if it was 3x plus 2. This is 3x minus 2.
so what am I looking for exactly? What for last time?
You're just missing the minus. It's actually minus 2.
Ah,
And what would that be as a coordinate where it crosses the y-axis?
0, 2, minus 2.
Yeah. Y-axis, x is 0. 3 times 0 take away 2. So 0 minus 2 minus 2. Okay, let's say this part, question 1. What is the y-intercept for that? And they call it C.
The y what, sorry?
Y-intercept. So where does it cut the y-axis for question 1?
2.
Yep, that's it. Question 2.
4.
Question 3.
Minus 5.
Brilliant. How about question 6?
Minus 3.
So that's not the number without x.
Y.
It's like minus 3x plus 0. So in that case it's just 0. There is no number.
Okay.
And so those are, so every straight line, remember I said it looks like y equals mx plus c, y equals 3x plus 2, a half x minus 4. For each of these, what is the m? So let's say for question 1, what is the m? And m is the number in front of x.
5.
Question 2.
1/5.
Yeah. Question 5.
2.
Something's missing.
Minus.
Yeah. Question 6.
Minus 3.
And the last one, question 8.
4. Oh, question 8. 1/2.
Something's missing.
Minus.
Yes, that's it.
1/2.
So we were finding the gradient earlier. The gradient is always m, these numbers that we just found. So you can just look at it and see the gradient is going to be the m, and the y-intercept where it goes through the y-axis is going to be the c. Any idea about this one? Part A. At the top.
Sorry, zoom out. I'm not sure how I do this.
So you know how it's always, in general, every straight line is y equals mx plus c. Which one is the gradient, the m or the c?
Hold on, am I doing the top question?
Yeah.
Okay, say that again.
Y equals mx plus c. For this question, which one is m? What number is m?
5.
So what you need is a line that is parallel to that, which means it has the same gradient, the same m. So make up another equation of a line that has the same gradient as that. So it'll be y equals something x plus something. So that has to have the same gradient. The same m.
I'm not quite sure. Y equals 5x plus 6.
So that's an identical one. Can you think of it just a different one?
Or just think of a different number.
Yep.
3.
There you go. That's fine. Okay, and then this one. The bottom one.
Y equals 3x minus is it any random number again, or
Yep.
7?
Yep. That's fine. So long as you have y equals 3x, that's the important bit, and then this can be anything. They have the same gradient, so they're parallel. Any questions about that?
No.
Okay, and that one's okay. And then this one is for another time. Let's just take a look at what's at the end. The end is the mixed questions, I believe. So mixed questions. How would you draw this graph?
How would I what? Sorry?
How would you draw this graph? So this is a mix of the questions we did.
Find out the coordinates and plot them, and I'll just draw a line.
Okay, so go on, let's do it. Isn't it 4 times minus 1 plus 2? Or Yeah.
times minus 2.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And the next one?
So what is it? Y equals 4 times 3 plus 2. 4 times 3. 14.
Mm-hmm. And what would you do next?
Don't you plot them?
Yeah. So minus 1, minus 2, 3, 14. And where should it cut through on the y-axis?
At 2.
Yep. And there you go. And so that thing that we were finding, the plus c, that's the y-intercept, the number without x. It's always number without x is where it goes through. Any questions about that?
No.
Okay, so that's that one. Gradient. Okay, what's the gradient of this line? How do you get that?
Wouldn't it just be 0, 0 and 10, 400?
Yeah.
So the difference there is 10 and 400.
Mm-hmm.
10. Is it 4, 10? How many 10s fit into 400?
Yeah.
40. Yeah.
40. So gradient to this is a calculator one, but they're just it's just very similar. It's just you use your calculator with it.
Mm.
And how about this one?
Calculation of straight line as parallel equals. I'm not sure how I'll do this one. Would it?
The same as how we were doing them before. If it's parallel, it has the same gradient, same m.
I've got a very crap memory, so
So it has to have the same m as the one above it. And that's like any straight line.
yeah. Will it be y equals 4 times sum in plus 2?
Well, y equals 4x and then just something different.
Oh, y equals 4x plus 3.
Yep, that's it. That line is parallel because it's different, but it has the same gradient.
Yeah, as long as it has for y equals 4x.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then, okay. And yeah, how was that for you, Dylan?
Alright, a bit challenging, but
Yeah, that is challenging. So that's all
Yeah.
grade 5. Do you want to? So we've done about half of it. Do you want to do the other half next time or something else?
you can carry on with the other half, because if I keep on doing it, I'll remember it better, so
Yeah. Any questions for me in general?
no.
Okay. Well done, Dylan. You did great. I look forward to you talking again next week.